There's a plethora of different types of bacon that you could get that could satisfy your craving. That's some that's less
Different
salty
flavor
than
profiles.
others.
All right, get your bubble gump on. Tell me the
Maple
different types.
bacon.
Maple bacon, apple bacon, smoked bacon, candied bacon, pepper bacon, bacon bits. You can bake the bacon. You can fry the bacon. There's been bacon dipped in chocolate.
Yeah.
I've
Bacon
seen
on a burger.
bacon on a burger. I've seen people dip bacon into pancake batter.
Yeah.
And make like pancake strips with the
Some
bacon
kinda like
on the
corn
inside.
Oh,
dogs.
that's lit.
Yeah, it's just the options are endless.
And if you ain't fucking with this podcast, then you're just a bitch ass trick.
Welcome back to another episode of Save It for the Pod. Of course, we got AJ here and then special guest Gabe. This might as well be what we listening to on this episode. I'm just replacing Omari, so you're going to get several Bow Wow references, some Tokyo Drift and whatnot. But welcome to the pod, Gabe. How it feel to be back?
Feels good. I don't have Phil here to antagonize. So.
Yeah, so this is definitely going to be a super calm,
Yeah, facts.
unproblematic, tame episode. Everyone's going to get along. I mean, sometimes me and Gabe butt heads, but outside of that, I mean, like you said, Phil's not here, so we shouldn't have any issues at all. But it's funny because last time you were on, it kind of felt like you were on a press run doing your Protect Black Women,
Yeah.
I Care. Wait, was that what it's called?
I got you.
I got you. Yeah. So nothing to promote this time.
But then it turned into trying to teach Phil
Yes. Yes. Gabe did a
how
great
to be
job.
accountable or whatever.
That episode, I don't know if y'all saw at least the clips of Mike Tyson and Freddie Gibbs talking about Dr. Umar Johnson. Like, that's what that podcast reminded me of. Just Phil trying to educate, or Gabe trying to educate Phil. But anyways, it's October 7th, so we have now entered spooky season. All three of us here, Black, AJ mixed Black Puerto Rican, but still from the diaspora. But what was Halloween growing up for y'all? Like, did y'all parents actually give you full costumes? Did y'all go all out?
So as a small child, we definitely did costumes, but we did it and went to like daycare in a costume. Like I remember taking pictures with the Power Rangers, stuff like that when I was super young. But then at the age where people go trick-or-treat, I've never been trick-or-treating ever.
Really?
Go trick-or-treat in my neighborhood if you want to. Actually, I would say more recently, I've seen like parents and kids going trick-or-treating in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
When I was younger, that was ideal time to get hit with a paintball, for sure.
So y'all didn't go trick-or-treating in your neighborhood, but did other people go? So did y'all have kids coming to y'all house? Or did y'all turn all the lights off? So
No, we didn't turn all the lights off. So I remember the first year someone knocked on our door, we didn't have candy because we weren't used to it. And then the next year, it's hilarious. My dad decides he didn't want to be aggravated by constant knocking. So he decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a light out here with a bowl and put all this candy in the bowl with a sign that says, "Take one, please." Literally, the first kid just dumped the whole bowl in their bag.
I mean, that's what everybody does.
I'm like, that's not going to work.
Yeah. So AJ, what about you? Did your parents go all out with the costumes?
Yeah, when I was young, yeah. And then when I was a little bit, I kind of got like less interest in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, younger, yeah.
So Halloween isn't really, I mean, I know you don't like scary stuff, scary movies, but Halloween's never really been your thing?
Yeah, not really. I feel like everyone else likes it way more than I do.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you also like sweets. So how do you not like Halloween? Like, that's candy season.
I mean, candy's cool. I mean, I've trick-or-treated and stuff before, but yeah, I don't know. My mom will put candy out for, I mean, you know how my mom is, how both you guys. So
Yeah.
she'll be out there with candy and stuff for the neighborhood kids and stuff.
Got you. So
But yeah.
what's y'all favorite? Well, before I even get to that, I never had a full costume. My costumes was always like, we gonna buy little pieces here and there, and then we gonna figure the rest out with the outfits that you have. So two costumes that come to mind. My favorite one was probably Batman. It was just literally a Batman mask that had the cape attached to it. I might have a picture on my Instagram. But then I just had a black shirt and black jeans with my shirt tucked into my jeans.
They did the same thing in Shang-Chi. No big deal.
I haven't watched that, so I need
That's
to see
hilarious.
it. But yeah, that's kind of like how my costumes went. I never had, like, I remember another year I had, it wasn't a Scream mask, but y'all remember the bloody masks that people had? I had one of those, and again, I didn't, my parents wouldn't buy me the full cloak. It was just, I had the mask and then I had to just wear all black with that. So
That's hilarious.
Halloween, I've always loved the holiday, but when I was younger, we didn't get to celebrate. But we did go trick-or-treating, so at least I got to experience that. But my mom would always take a lot of the candy to work. And so me and my sister, we'd get all this great candy and then not even get to enjoy it. So that pissed me off.
But I didn't really care for dressing up that much.
Really?
I had when I was younger, like I think everyone was a Power Ranger at one point.
Yes.
But but I remember that I think my brother was Woody or something once, or I don't know. Or I think I was like a lion from Lion King.
Okay.
But that was also super small.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never really cared for dressing up that much.
Is there a favorite costume that y'all had as jits or
My-
adults?
No, but my parents one year I remember went to a Halloween party and my dad was Frankenstein and he did a really good job with it. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yes, I'd probably say that one was my favorite. It wasn't even me, but
Yeah.
just seeing him like that.
What about you, Gabe? Is there a favorite costume that?
I don't know if you want to call it a costume, and it wasn't even for Halloween. I went on a group trip one time to Puerto Rico, and one of the nights the theme was cartoon pajamas,
Okay.
but I was a minion.
Okay.
I was the biggest minion you've ever seen in your life.
Well, I can imagine.
Yeah, for real. That is not a minion that you want to mess with. That is gonna be the lead minion. They're not even a minion. They the leader. What's Groot? Is that his name from
Yeah.
the movie? Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah. No.
Oh, Gru, not Groot.
Oh
Gru.
yeah, Gru. I'm
G-R-U.
talking about from what's the movie where the minions are from?
Oh, okay, yeah,
Despicable
Gru
Me.
is his
Yeah,
name.
yeah. Yeah, so he gonna be your follower as if he was the minion. That's crazy. But nah, I think my favorite costumes is probably when I was, because that's Tatiana's favorite holiday is Halloween. So
Yeah, I know that.
we always got to go out all out. So
That's what I was saying. I'm like, I've seen you in full costumes now, but
yeah,
I
now
know this because Tati loves it.
and sometimes I feel, because I do enjoy it, but sometimes I feel bad because it's like I'm not trying to go all out because it's just been instilled in me, I guess, that it's not that big of a deal.
All right.
But I still like to dress up if it doesn't entail like buying 10,000 parts for a costume. Because she, of course, I mean, most girls that want to do the couple's costume type thing. I think it was last year she wanted to be Shark Boy and Lava Girl. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to do that. One year we was a wolf, the big bad wolf. And no, I want to say she was Little Red Riding Hood, but now I can't even
That's
remember.
what I thought.
Another year, she wanted me to be Batman,
Yeah,
but
well.
Batman costumes, for whatever reason, are dumb expensive. Spider-Man ones are way cheaper, so I was Spider-Man, she was the Joker. But this year, she wanted to do stuff again, but we saving for this wedding, so I don't know if that's even gonna happen. But y'all got anything else for Halloween? I did tell, I don't know who runs the Instagram. I feel like it's you. But I said we need to get a What We Watchin, which is their podcast for the people that don't know. We need to get like a curated playlist of movies. And again, I'm assuming it's you because you were like, all right, we're going to do it. And if that came from AJ, we're not getting any scary movies from AJ.
I can't disclose who runs the
Well,
Instagram page.
I got a hunch.
The message got back to the gang.
Okay.
And it's in the works.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, again, last year, I told y'all, the pod doesn't know, but last year I tried watching like a scary movie every week. And every scary movie I watched, I was like, yo, this is trash. Like, I looked up top scary movies and every single, like, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I watched the original one, and I'm like, yo, this is terrible.
Because you're at the age where technology is so much more advanced.
That is
so
true.
you're going to look at these movies and be like, this is not...
Yeah.
Like, technology is so much more advanced now. Like, you can go to a movie and they'll put a camera inside a person's, like, womb.
Yeah.
so you can see
Yeah,
their
yeah,
guts
yeah, yeah,
exploding from
exactly.
inside out.
Exactly.
And Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just like, all right, somebody's off the camera squirting a ketchup bottle. It's not going to be the same, Zach.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll ask you, and hopefully this isn't a what we watching topic, but do you have a favorite scary movie that you go to, or just enjoy in general?
I don't necessarily say I have a favorite. There's a bunch that I find to be hilarious.
Okay.
I watch them more for how funny they are
Yeah.
than anything else. Yeah, I mean, these recent It's have been good. There's one that I feel like is underrated. It's called Last House on the Left
Okay.
that I always recommend to people. But yeah, the ones that I find to be like the most scary is not necessarily like a creature or an animal or
Yeah.
it's something that you can feel like you can see this happening
Yeah, exactly.
like in real life. So it'll make you, it's like how people now react to driving behind an 18-wheeler with lumber
Yeah,
now
yeah,
because of
yeah.
Final
Yeah,
Destination.
exactly.
Like you could see it happening, so now you're worried about it at every turn. It's
Yeah.
those types of movies that like, all right,
Yeah.
I
For
may
sure.
not have been scared when I watched it, but I'm thinking about it now.
Yeah.
And so, AJ, again, I know you don't like scary movies, but is there like one Halloween themed or maybe scary movie that you do enjoy?
I don't know. I don't really like scary movies in general, but I think some movies that are scary to people, I'm like, oh, that's not bad at all, and like that's kind of like the thriller category. I would guess
yeah,
I would
okay.
call it. But like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like you're like, oh, that's a scary movie, but to me, I'm like, all right, it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
It's not like it would. I don't know if it'd be scary in this situation, but stuff like that doesn't really scare me too much.
Yeah. I wish I remember the name of this one movie, but I watched it last year. It was supposed to be like one of the scarier movies. It was made by Rob Zombie, and maybe I'll put it when I edit this, but that is a movie where it's like, yo, this isn't even scary. It's legitimately funny on how bad, because Tatiana's the same way as you. She doesn't like scary. And
She loves Halloween.
Halloween is her favorite holiday.
but she's super scared. She gets scared easily. So when she watched it, like even to her, she was like, "Yeah, this is really bad," and like this is actually funny. It's not even a good movie, but y'all, we make all these technological advances, like Gabe said, and make these great movies now. I feel like horror is the one genre where we're lacking. Like love stories, great. The rom-coms, which y'all love, great. Action, all this stuff, but horror is the one where we're lacking.
Yeah, I think because a lot of them are falling more into the thriller category recently. So you have that, and then I also think like it becomes more sci-fi-ish. Like they rely too much on the technology, so it becomes more sci-fi-ish and feels less like a horror film.
Yeah,
But
sure.
yeah, I mean, the only recent ones that I can think of that were any good is it.
Yeah, it was
off
good.
the top of my head.
It was good.
Yeah, it also, I mean, it depends on the person what they think is scary. Like Split, some people thought that was scary, but that's just a decent movie. Like, there's like Disturbia. Did you? Oh yeah, we were talking about another movie and that came up. Disturbia. No, with you.
What did we?
Yeah, that's the one with the dude from Even Stevens. Remember you said that?
Oh
With Shia LaBeouf.
yeah.
We're talking about the one we'll talk about later. But
Yeah, you said Disturbia, and I started thinking about Rihanna. I was like, is Rihanna in that? But that's a song by Rihanna.
Yeah.
So.
like, I remember people being scared of that one, or like it has like jump scares in it, or parts that'll make you jump or something.
Yeah, the only movie I can think that like spooked me a little bit, which did the same with other people, was Paranormal Activity. And I know, unless you believe in paranormal stuff, to me, I don't. So kind of going off what you said, like stuff that seems like it could actually happen. But I remember I watched that with an ex-girlfriend of mine when it came out. And I lived in a gated community at the time, and we got back home late. So I wasn't trying to call my parents to let me in. So she dropped me off, and like I sprinted from the gate to my house because I'm like, yo, I am spooked the hell out right now.
Paranormal was I don't remember which one it was. There's three of them, but one of them was so funny to me because it starts off with this family entering a house and like a realtor is showing them the house, and the realtor tells them that there has been like signs of paranormal activity, and they still buy the house. From that moment on, like 5 to 10 minutes into the film, I just was waiting on them to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like you deserve whatever's coming at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the flip side, the parodies of the scary movies.
Yes, that's exactly what I was. As soon as you said, you said they were funny to you, Gabe, but also, because I think they told in what was that one parody with Marlon Wayans, where
Well, there's scary movie, but
Yeah.
then there's haunted house. Or
Haunted
Yeah,
House,
Haunted
yeah,
House.
where
He's
they
made
told
2
him
of
in the
those.
beginning,
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, like
Yeah.
he's not okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think you might be talking about haunted house, but I haven't seen the other
No,
paranormal.
he's doing a parody
Yeah,
of
From
the
Paranormal,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah. There's for sure one of those paranormal activities. There is for sure.
Yeah.
And when it happens, like the first thing I say, because they said, and one of the kids be like, "Oh, that's cool," and the first thing I think of, that's some white people shit.
Yeah,
Like, there's no
Yeah.
way I walk into a house and they tell me signs of paranormal activity.
Yeah,
here,
yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, sign me up.
Yeah. See, I don't believe in it. So if I'm getting a good deal, which I feel like in a lot of cases, like where you have someone dying in the house, I think they do kind of lower the price of the house, then I might be like, all right, sign me up.
Yeah, someone dying in a house, to me, that's more of a normal,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, a normal thing. That's not the same as saying, hey, we have recorded incidents of paranormal
Yeah.
activity here.
Yeah.
Zach's like,
But Tatiana
get the
wouldn't.
grand.
Yeah, I would be, but Tatiana wouldn't be going for that anyway. So, but that's all I got on the
Right,
spooky
you want to
stuff.
make a scary movie, just have Zach star in it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It'll
now
actually
knowing
be
that-
him.
Yeah.
Now knowing that Tati gets scared easy, but Halloween is her favorite holiday, you should definitely do a prank.
Bro, I don't even need to prank. I will be walking around the apartment. Like, obviously I'm there. Y'all been in my apartment. It's not big. And I'll just walk into the room. You scared me. Like, it's every single day. She gets scared just by my presence. It's insane to me. And obviously Kobe, he's a wild ass dog. Like, he sprints from room to room. I don't know how he doesn't scare her, but I don't know. Maybe it's the white side of Tatiana that she sees a
Oh,
black
no.
man and gets scared. I don't know.
I don't know
But-
why this happens.
That's hilarious.
All right, but we can move on to random topics. So as y'all see, Gabe in a nice Nike, I don't want to call it but sweatsuit. But Gabe loves suits, loves tracksuits, correct?
It's very cool.
So Arby's, I don't know your opinion on Arby's, but they are apparently coming out with a line of tracksuits that smells like smoked meat. Pause. Let me say that real quick because Gabe will definitely get me on that, but smells like smoked meat. What are your opinions on that? Let's not even say it's.
Say
let's
would
let's
you
say
do
it
it-
smells like bacon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would
let's
you
say it
wear-
smells like bacon.
Even if it smelled, I wouldn't want to wear it if it smelled like bacon.
That's
I wouldn't
so
want
Yeah,
to
but
walk
if-
around and
if
smell
it's-
like bacon all the time.
Right, but most of your sweatsuits probably do
No,
because they're just in your house. And it just smells like bacon
I normally
24/7
wear
now.
them fresh out of the laundry.
So real quick, because the listeners don't know, what we watching knows, but save it for the pod doesn't. Gabe is, I think calling you a bacon enthusiast still isn't doing
Connoisseur.
it.
We're called Baconites.
Okay, bacon nice. My bad.
CEO and president of the Brothers for Bacon Association
Gabe does not tolerate any disrespect towards bacon
at all.
I do not eat red meat, so turkey bacon is what I am
Jesus
forced to
Christ.
eat. Even me saying
Turkey
ba-
strips.
Yes,
turkey strips.
But I always have this conversation with you. Don't think of it as turkey bacon. Think of it as it's turkey flavored as bacon. Does that make you, if you think of it that way?
My issue isn't with the actual product. It's with the advertisement
Okay.
of the product. That's like a white person saying, "Hey, don't think of it as blackface. Just think of it as you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the
Just think of it as a
advertisement of it.
white person
Yeah,
flavored with
it's
blackness.
it's the same thing with like some the way they name some like there's a guy made a TikTok about it. The way they name some of the vegan like
Yeah.
dishes where he'd be like, oh, vegan chicken wings, and he'd be
Yeah.
like, we don't have a problem with vegans, but we're gonna go into this expecting it to taste like chicken wings
Yeah.
now, and it's not. When if you just said, hey, this is fried cauliflower,
Yeah.
people would be like, oh snap, that might taste good and appreciate it more.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like, just don't disrespect the good name of bacon
All right.
by putting turkey on it.
I mean, and I don't mean to cause any controversy. I think I said this to your face, but to me, bacon is low key overrated. Even when I used to eat red meat and eat bacon, bacon and steak both are probably like the two most overrated foods to me. Like again,
What?
This is why you can't put on any size, Zach. This is exactly why you can't put on any size. You gotta become more of a carnivore.
Burgers are like the one thing where I'm like, yo, burgers are fire.
Did you say you don't eat red meat?
I used to. I mean, it's been years, but burgers are like the one thing where I'm like, yo, low key, I miss that. Luckily, turkey burgers, which I don't know how you feel about calling them turkey
That's
burgers.
fine, because a burger is just the crafting of the patty.
Okay.
Anything could be a burger if it's crafted into a patty.
Okay.
But bacon is cured pig
Okay.
By definition. Yeah.
by definition.
Yeah.
So it can't be anything else but pig.
Yeah. But
If he misses anything, I know it by heart, so I'll just say. I've heard this over and over.
yeah, same. But to me, it's just it's salty meat. Like it might as well be jerky. Of course, there's different
Come
ways
on.
that you can have the bacon. You can have it a little less crispy. You could have it extra crispy. But to me,
If you
it's,
put bacon in any dish, though, when people put it in a lot, it just makes it better.
Thank you. It makes life better.
It makes it
yeah.
better. Yeah. Gabe's like, I'm a dish. I'm gonna put bacon in it. It makes
Like,
me
I
better.
don't understand what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's just
All right.
salty meat.
Anyways, back to the suits. One.
Not even that. There's how many types of bacon, Gabe? There's smoked bacon. There's applewood bacon.
There's a plethora of different types of bacon that you could get that could satisfy your craving. That's some that's less
different
salty
flavor
than
profiles.
All right, get your bubble gump on. Tell me the
Maple
different types.
bacon.
Others. Maple bacon, apple bacon, smoked bacon, candied bacon, pepper bacon, bacon bits. You can bake the bacon.
Mm-hmm.
You can fry the bacon. There's been bacon dipped in chocolate.
Yeah.
I've
Bacon
seen
on a burger.
bacon on a burger. I've seen people dip bacon into pancake batter
Yeah.
and make like pancake strips with the
So kinda
bacon
like
on the
corn
inside.
Oh,
dogs.
that's lit.
Yeah, it's just the options are endless.
Yeah.
If you would know that, I'm going to take you to Bacon Fest when it starts back up.
Do they have turkey strips there? Because again, I
Probably
won't be
not.
able to.
This is
You can just
arena
experience
of
it.
people who appreciate the
All right.
essence of bacon. They wouldn't disrespect bacon in that way.
All right, fair. But I wish it wasn't Arby's because I mean I don't know
Oh, yeah.
what is y'all opinion on Arby's?
As soon as what's Arby's thing? That's all that needs to be
Well,
said.
we got the meats.
I'm good. No, thank you. Pass.
Pass on everything.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. What if it was made by Arby's, looked like, smelled like bacon, but it looked like the tracksuits from The Gentleman? Because I know how much you enjoy those.
There's fire, but if I can't get them to smell like fabric softener, I'm not gonna wear them.
Oh, yeah.
You're just not gonna walk around like bacon, smelling like bacon all the time.
Yeah, no. I mean, the only good thing is that dogs will love me even
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
But outside of
So
that,
there's no occasion you could see yourself wearing it. It's smelling like bacon, even if it was to Bacon Fest.
No,
if
bacon
I
fest,
wake
you could
up in
do
the
it, yeah.
morning and cook bacon, I'll change my clothes
Yeah.
before I go into it because I know I smell like.
But would
the
you wear it
kitchen.
to Bacon Fest?
Nah, probably. Cause then there's gonna be thousands of people following me around.
See, I'm starting to question.
The whole thing smells like bacon.
I'm starting to question Gabe's actual love to bacon.
That's-
Because hopefully this doesn't cause a fight. You know my love for cheesecake. If Cheesecake Factory said we coming out with tracksuits that smell like cheesecake, maybe it's different because it's a sweet smell and not salty.
Exactly.
But I'm wearing cheesecake scented tracksuits.
Yeah, because like.
All right,
you
well,
just
what's
said,
your favorite dessert, Gabe? Would you wear your favorite dessert
Is
smelling?
cheesecake your favorite?
Actually, it isn't. Brownie sundaes are my favorite dessert.
So would you walk
But it's
around?
a more sweet smell. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's a more sweet. Like
Okay.
if you went out on a date with the chick and you smelled like cheesecake, she's gonna be like, "Oh, he smelled good."
Yeah.
If you went out on a chick and be like, "You smell like bacon," they're like, "Oh, I think he probably went to a barbecue before he."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like it's not that I
See,
don't love bacon.
And pause. My favorite meat is salmon, but I mean, I wouldn't want to smell like fish because it is a different smell. I don't like
What
bacon,
about smoked salmon?
but bacon does smell good. I will give you that. I wouldn't mind smelling like bacon.
It's the best scent to wake up to in
Yeah.
the morning. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
now,
honestly,
I can
even
get
if you're
an
vegan-
alarm, when my alarm goes off, it sprays like the smell of bacon.
Actually, I think pepperoni I like to smell more of than bacon. I don't think it tastes better. Actually, I do think pepperoni tastes better.
Yo, we started out so good. So. We started out
I
so
feel like
good.
even vegan people like the smell of bacon.
Yeah.
Like it probably makes them hungry.
Do you think pepperoni smells better than bacon?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
Yeah,
in
we're
the
all
minor-
normal.
Yeah, but if you wake up to smell like pepperoni versus smoked
I'm
bacon
I'm
or
just talking
apple
about
with bacon
yeah,
or something, I don't know.
I'm just talking about in general.
I've
I'm
never
not-
had a bad day that started with bacon.
All right, fair enough. You have any other thoughts on bacon? Are you ready to move on?
We can move on. I think people understand how much I love.
So I wish Phil was here because I feel like this is definitely something that Phil would do. So a man, he was missing and drunk, and he joined a search party that was looking for him,
Oh wow!
which is
I can
wild.
definitely see Phil doing it. As soon as you said it, I was like, "What was on the list?" I read
Wait,
it.
so did they
I almost
not
lost
have
it.
an image of this individual they were looking for? Like all these people out, and you just standing
Exactly.
right next to them?
Exactly. I mean, honestly, I could see myself doing it as well because I've been to that level of drunkenness. I'd be
No,
like,
wait, he wouldn't be drunk at this point.
no, he was drunk, I think.
No, there's not going to be a search party.
So
Like,
that was the only thing I was
You're just
confused
drunk
about.
the entire time.
I don't know, but that is what
Yeah.
I was confused about because usually you're not putting together a search party instantly. Like obviously,
Right.
if he's drunk, like it's
He had to be
happened.
missing for a couple days.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then still it is wild. And like Gabe said, like how do you not have
A
posters?
picture,
or-
yeah.
Yeah, how you guys clearly don't even know who you're looking for. If he's standing right next to you,
Yeah.
like so that means if you would have found him, you wouldn't have known that you found him.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
could have
So,
found
yes,
a whole nother
he's-
person.
So yes, he's wild for being drunk and being in that situation, but all those people were sober.
Yeah. But as that guy, like you join a search party, the first question is like,
Who we looking for?
Well, one, what are we doing? Then someone responds, "Oh, we're looking for a missing person." Okay, the next question is,
we looking for?
who are we looking for? What does he look like? So everyone's just like, I don't really know. We're looking.
You're like, he kind of looks exactly like you.
Yeah.
Everyone take a look at this man's face. We're looking for someone who looks like him.
You know what? It had to have been a black dude with super progressive white people that didn't want to come off as racist.
And they're just like, you don't look the same. I swear.
Because they're like, what does he look like? He's 6 foot, thin, and that's probably all they gave him.
Ethnic.
Darker hair.
White people love not pointing out the race of people, but I have nothing else on this. I wanted to get y'all thoughts, but
That's hilarious.
it was funny to me.
Dang, so with your theory of it being a black guy, definitely, most likely, probably was Phil.
Yeah,
For sure. For sure.
Very true. That's what Phil been doing in Chicago right now. But I didn't have it on the list, but Gabe, right before the podcast, you did state your feelings on a couple of things. So is there anything you want to get off your chest?
Yes, 100%.
Go for it.
So today I went in for a manicure pedicure, and I went in and these two ladies, when I walked in, looked at each other, said something in a different language, looked back at me, and then continued to look in their phone. Completely ignored me. Then the guy who I can only suspect was the owner, with an attitude, asked me, "What do you want?" So I tell him, and then another employee who looks younger, she looks at him, rolls her eyes, and then tells me she'll be right with me.
Yeah.
So she finishes her pedicure that she was working on while these other two girls were sitting there doing absolutely nothing, then begins to assist me. Two European women walk in the middle of me getting my pedicure, and the two girls pop up like fire was on their seats, like to assist them. So when I'm checking out, the lady asked me if I want to leave a tip, and then they hear the amount of the tip that I'm leaving, and their eyes get real big. So I hope, for future reference, they realize like,
They've learned
hey,
their lesson.
yeah, like you should be assisting everyone.
Yeah. So we don't have that big of a following. or a big following. But do you want to put this place on blast so people know not to go there?
I think it's called. It's the name sound real zesty. It's called Spicy Nails.
Okay.
But in my defense,
You walked in the spicy nails.
In my defense,
Gabe was ready to get
I
started.
went to 4 different nail places, and they all were busy because it was Saturday. In between where my shoot was and where we're shooting at now.
Yeah.
So it was like, all right, whoever's available
Yeah.
is where I was gonna go, and apparently,
And the spice was right.
yeah.
So going back to the tipping thing, as a black dude, do you feel like you have to overcompensate as it comes to tipping, since we have the perception of being bad tippers?
Not really. I mean, I didn't grow up that way. So my mom has a funny story where my mom has had every job you can think of in the world. And so one of her jobs she had was at Denny's, where she was a waitress. She tells a story about how she spilled hot coffee on a dude's lap
Yeah.
one time in Denny's, and the dude left a $100 tip.
Oh dear, that's nice.
And it was like, oh, you know, I understand you didn't feel that way, pay it forward type of thing. And
Yeah.
ever since then, she's always tipped like extremely well. So even to this day, like I tip everybody. It's always, it's also why like, I remember in college, it was like, oh, I don't have that experience at the barbershop that you have. And I'm like, yeah, I probably tip as much as your haircut.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're gonna treat me a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But nah, I don't over tip because of other black people, because I also think like that gives that server or whoever like the entitlement that they entitled to a tip.
Yeah.
And so sometimes their service reflects that, like, oh, they don't feel like I'm gonna tip.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they feel entitled to me tipping. But that's a whole nother conversation, because yesterday I was just discussing how I don't think it's fair that restaurants get away with paying below minimum wage because they're adding a tip onto it, where a tip is a gift that you're giving. They should be required to pay the minimum wage, and then a tip be whatever's on top of that.
Were you on that episode when we argued? I don't think you were. When we were arguing with Phil.
No, Patricia.
That's every episode.
I think it's Patricia. 'cause
Literally
she's-
every episode.
Well, I meant I meant about tipping.
Hold on.
So while Gabe puts the camera on, so on an earlier podcast, for those that are loyal, we did argue. We did argue with Phil that, because Phil was, of course, saying that it's not his job to give a certain tip because the servers or whatever, or waitresses, whatever you want to call them, make X amount of dollars, which is well below minimum wage. But I don't know, Tatiana being a server for so many years, as well as her mom, not to say I was ever a bad tipper, but I definitely
More cognizant.
yeah, more cognizant of it. Once I was with Tatiana, I'm like, yo, this is helping pay our rent, and it helped me think about other people as well. So
yeah, see, but okay, so I know another, I can't call her a young lady, she's older than me, but I know another woman who like was a server, and she often like post about it. And I told her, I was like, you do know like a tip is supposed to be complimentary.
Yeah.
Like you're not entitled to that person tipping. She was like, oh, I don't care how bad the service is, you should at least leave something. And I'm like, that line of thinking is exactly why I feel the way I do, because that means you feel entitled to my money, no matter how the quality of service that you're giving me. You feel entitled to my money. So my perspective on it is, I start out with like, all right, I'm gonna tip this amount.
yeah,
And I could order something that's only $20 and still in my head be like, I'm gonna tip $20. Right? I'm in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tip this amount or this percentage. And then you, based off the quality of service,
It docks
you
you down,
can
yeah.
dock. But I'm also not super picky. So I'm not docking for just random, like, oh, my food is wrong. Like, I understand that's an easy mistake. I would dock for like, all right, you ain't been back to my table in an hour. We've been sitting down. We ain't get no water, no menus, no anything. Like, no one has even come to checking to see if we're still alive over here.
Right.
Like that type of stuff, or giving an attitude, or especially if I'm with someone and then you're causing their experience to be bad, then that'll affect your tip.
Yeah.
But outside of that, for the most part, I do, I tip pretty well.
yeah.
But it's not my responsibility to tip because they're not getting paid though. That's something that they have to take up with their manager. It piggybacks off of this whole thing we're in now, where people are talking about how people don't want to return to work because of the unemployment checks they're getting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, the way they assess giving a person unemployment is they literally assess what it costs to survive, not to live comfortably, what it costs to survive, and they pay you that. If what it costs to survive, that
Is
unemployment check is well over what you're paying me, then maybe you should reflect on how much you're paying these employees.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's definitely crazy. Of course, some people are taking advantage of it in a negative way, but I mean, at the same time, like, why would you continue to work if you're getting paid from these unemployment checks way more? So it's two sides of the coin. It's a double-edged sword, but I get it. Because, I mean, even when I was furloughed, if I got my paychecks without tax being taken out, then I'd be getting way more, like, with my regular job. But, I mean, of course, because I'm getting so much tax taken out, I'm like, yo, these unemployment checks are kind of nice during that little furlough that I had. So I get it. I definitely get it. But you have anything you need to get off your chest, AJ?
No, I'm good.
All right. I'm not going to be grumpy this week since Gabe is on.
You don't have nothing?
Grumpy Zach.
Actually, no. Just get it, whatever is off your chest.
Like, of course, I always have stuff on my chest, but it's so much that nothing is coming to mind at this point in time. So I'll let it slide, and I already gave
Literally, like, everything you've ever had to get off your chest, Gabe's been like, what?
Yeah, it's all like, no.
Is
like,
there?
I believe everyone in the world should have on their red receipts.
The red receipts, yeah.
What?
I mean, to me, it's just like, why not? So, all right, let me
One
ask
of them
you.
was like, I don't like the way some people breathe or something like that.
Yeah.
Did I say somebody breathes
No,
weirdly?
you didn't. He's
Yeah, I don't think I said that.
the multiple texts is another one.
Oh yeah, multiple
Yeah,
texts.
that drives me nuts. But is there like one thing that I've said that absolutely was like, yo, Zach is wilding right now?
Yeah,
was it the red receipts?
No, you literally start off the episode with turkey bacon.
Okay, fair enough. But any of the other episodes where I've gotten something off my chest?
Not. I mean, the red receipts was. No, not really. Is some of the debates y'all have?
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody doesn't understand that they're all literally being hypocritical while telling the other person they're being hypocritical. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like last episode, Phil, Tati, everyone was discussing Phil being empathetic towards women.
Yeah.
I was like, Phil's being hypocritical, but literally everyone was being hypocritical. Everyone's like, hey, yeah, you should be equal. And Phil's like, okay, well, if I treat them equal, then it was like, they were like, you should treat them equal. And then they were saying, well, if you had a sister, you'd have learned that you can't resolve your issues with her the same way you do with your brother, which means that you're not treating them, treating them equally. So that was Phil's point. Yeah. But then on the other hand, Phil is Phil.
Yeah.
He's like a what you were saying with Dr. Umar. Like, he'll say one thing that makes sense and then support it with 20 things that don't. Yeah. And then completely ruin his point.
Yeah, that's beautifully put. I couldn't have said it better. But we can move on. So next on the docket, we got movies. And this is y'all wheelhouse. We'll start off with The Voyeurs.
Or what we've been streaming. That doesn't even have to be movies.
Oh, yeah. Well, streaming stuff. So I know have you watched The Voyeurs on Amazon Prime with Sydney Sweeney? Mm-mm. All right, so it's kind of like Disturbia, like he talked about. Do you remember the name of that Albert Hitchcock movie we watched in Movie Club where he's just like watching the neighbors?
Psycho?
No.
It's not Psycho.
I remembered it and said it on the pod, but then I forgot.
I don't think you said it.
Oh, I thought I did.
All right.
So I'm looking at it while you talk about it, but explain it.
So, Voyeurs, it's...
Rear Window?
Yeah, Rear Window.
Okay, yeah. So, this is just like both of those movies. I haven't seen Disturbia, so I'm assuming, but you're saying it's like that, so I'm going to just go off that. But it's about
Oh, you never
Yeah.
saw Disturbia? I thought
No.
that's why you brought it up.
Oh no, but I knew it was kind of like that, but I've
Yeah.
never seen the movie.
Okay.
You don't care if we spoil it for you, do you?
Oh man.
All right. So this couple, young couple, moves into an apartment. I think it's in New York. I'm guessing it's New York.
Yeah. The other
Um,
guys, I guess I don't know the main character, but the main, I guess I don't know. One of the characters is the guy from The Get Down, Gabe. The main character in The
that's
Get
where
Down.
he's from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was pissing me off throughout the whole movie. I was like, where is
With
he
the
from?
with the
He does a
raspy
good
voice.
job in the series on the Wu-Tang too.
Mm, okay.
Yeah, so they move in, and in like the New York lofts, like a lot of people have the open windows, don't really have curtains, so they see the neighbors.
Wait, you talking about Shamik Moore?
Yeah, you said the main character from the Get Down.
No, the main character in this movie, he's in the Get Down.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you were saying the main character from the Get
The
Down.
main character from The Get Down is Shamik. Why did I think it was the light skinned dude?
I feel like they focus more on Shamik than
Really?
light-skinned dude.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
And when
then
there's always crying
all the
about my
posters,
money.
Shamik's dead center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I guess.
I watched
But yeah,
like
so
2 episodes of that.
so
I can't remember.
it's the light skinned dude.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so they first night move into the apartment, see the neighbors, and they're like, "Oh, what are they doing?" Neighbors have sex right then and there. And so at first, the guy, of course, he's super into it. The girl, Sydney Sweeney, she's like, "Oh, this is kind of weird. It's creepy. We shouldn't be doing this." But neighbors continue to have sex like on a day-to-day basis. The guy, he's actually a photographer, funny enough. And so he has a
Zach as a photographer.
no, that's Phil as a photographer. So the neighbor, he has a girlfriend, which that's the one he keeps having sex with. But the girlfriend leaves. He cheats on her, or so on and so forth. But the Sydney Sweeney and the dude from the Get Down, they're continuing to watch, and Sydney on her own continues to watch. But it gets to a point where it's like super creepy, and the boyfriend, he's like, "Yo, we shouldn't be doing this anymore." Like. But Sydney's so invested. I forget what her name is. Pip something. I want to say it's like Pippi or something like that.
Or
Anyways,
Pippa? I don't know.
yeah. Anyways, so she's just so invested in it, and like a murder ends up happening. And the boyfriend witnesses like that this murder happened, and the Sydney Sweeney's like trying, because she ended up like figuring out what their Wi-Fi was, sent a message to the printer.
Yeah, so he cheated. The photographer dude cheated on his girlfriend. You said that part or no?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Sydney Sweeney sends like a message to the printer, prints it out. The girl, the like actual girlfriend of the photographer, sees it and is like, "Oh my God, like he cheated on me." Long story short, she kills herself because she got cheated on. And they already have like a rocky relationship as is. Fast forward like to the end, there was never suicide. All of this was like an art performance. Like the couple, and I'm sorry I'm confusing y'all, the couple that's not Sydney Sweeney, the one that's the photographer and his girlfriend, like rigged up Sydney Sweeney's apartment with cameras and whatnot, and they do like an art exhibit at the end of the movie, and it's like, this is my main character or my main piece, whatever, and it's like all these different pictures of like the entire movie of like of them spying on them. And it's hard to explain without watching it, but it's
No, I
nuts.
get the gist of what you're saying.
Okay.
They've been spying on them the whole time, but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
didn't know they were actually spying on them as well.
Exactly.
Or that it was set up that way. Like
Gotcha.
it enticed them into doing it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
and then the committing suicide part was a part of.
The
yeah,
play or
exactly
act in the art, quote unquote.
And so it was super fun. And I texted AJ as soon as I finished it. I was like, "Yo, this was really entertaining, but it was so corny." So up until Sydney Sweeney finds out that she got played is when it got corny. Because all of a sudden, she's a normal girl. She works at like a eyeglass place, optometrist. Is that the name of her job?
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, when she finds out she got played, she's James Bond, secret agent. Like there's a scene where she's like on top of the building in all black, like spying on him. And it was just like, yo, this is so corny, but it's still. And so what did she do again? She like poisoned both of them.
Yeah, so I mean, the couple that was that did the art or like the display actually poisoned her boyfriend and then hung him.
Yeah, yeah.
So she comes back, like, so
Yeah, that's
there's-
a big part that I
yeah.
forgot to say. That's like one of the biggest parts. That I
yeah,
forgot to say.
there's like two climaxes, or basically it's two movies, almost. Like you get one, you're like, all right, if this is how it ends, like that's how the movie ends. Like
Yeah.
once he hangs himself, but no, there's 45 more minutes or so, whatever.
Yeah.
And
So real quick for you, Gabe, and the listeners, the boyfriend
you should watch this game. It's good. The
of
writing
Sydney
is really good.
Sydney Sweeney hangs himself because, again, she was so invested. He told her to stop, and she caused what he thought was the suicide of the neighbor.
Right.
So he ends up killing himself.
No, that's not when he kills herself.
Yeah.
No. So this girl Pippa was so like from like the first time that they peeped, from the first time she was
Now I
looking into
remember.
the thing, she like it looks like she caught eyes with the dude,
Yeah.
and then you can tell she had a crush on him the whole time.
Yeah.
So after that happens, dude from the Get Down, I can't remember his name, goes, yeah, this I'm over. I can't do this anymore. Like you interfered, and then now someone just lost their life. I'm out. So she's like depressed or sad or whatever, and then goes to a bar or somehow like she meets up with him on purpose or like meets him on accident, and then kind of just like, oh no, I think she goes to the funeral and says sorry about it.
Pippa is her name. You're right.
Yeah,
And
Pippa.
then his name is Thomas, and Justin Smith in the Get Down. Yeah.
Yeah. So she kindles a relationship with him, ends up going out, getting drunk, but she wanted to, and
Yeah.
goes in, ends up having sex with the dude that she was spying on. Like
Yes.
at this point in the movie, you're like, all right, she's crazy because she had spied on him. Basically, he had his wife commit suicide. He's all broken up, and she's like, oh, it could be a rebound, kind
Yeah.
of. And they end up having sex. What's his name? Thomas.
Yes. He
Comes
comes
home
back to apologize.
to be like, yo, it was just too much for me. Let's like move, or let's do something and get out of here. So he goes in the fridge, gets his juice, and then looks over and sees Pippa having sex with the other
Yes.
dude.
Yes. So then he hangs himself. Or
No,
kills
he doesn't even. Okay. So then, yes, he hangs himself.
Or so we think.
Right.
And so then at the end of the movie, I forget the point. Like, there's just so much wild stuff in this
Right.
movie.
Just watch it.
Was he the only black guy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, it makes a lot of sense because
well,
it
yeah,
sounds
I
like
guess.
this movie is based off of people not minding their own business.
Right.
No.
It's
And he was
very-
like, "Let's
very
mind our
Eurocentric
business."
idea.
I mean, black people don't mind their own business either.
We do a lot better.
That is true.
We
That
do.
is true.
We
know when to draw the
we're
line.
nosy, but we keep it to ourselves.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. But what I was gonna say, back to the corny part, is she ends up poisoning both the neighbors because she thinks that they killed her boyfriend. And so she brings him back to the optometrist's place, ends up blinding them both with whatever eye test
Like
thing.
does LASIK wrong,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah, exactly. Blinds them both, and then at the end of the movie, they're just blind, looking out the window. But it's good. The ending's corny, but still, it's good and entertaining.
Blind looking out the window.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
together, blind. I don't know, but watch it. Anyways, The Voyeurs, good movie. Watch it. What I want to move on to, and I'm hoping I should have asked y'all this before the podcast. Did both of y'all watch Squid Games?
I have not.
Oh my god!
I watched the first episode. I haven't watched the whole thing.
I have not.
my
I'm gonna tell you why.
God.
Because when everyone, and I've said this before, when everyone
Yeah.
is watching something at one time, I can't watch it because I feel like I'm not gonna be able to not objectively watch it. Like
Yeah.
sometimes people will hype something up to the point where I'm expecting like God's gift to cinema, and then I
Yeah.
go watch it and I'm like disappointed. And then years later I go back and rewatch. I'm like, oh, it's not as bad as I remember. I just had a super high expectation of it.
See, the funny thing is, I heard about Squid Game, it was last weekend. Because first I heard it on the Rory and Maul podcast. Then I heard Joe Budden talk about it, and both of them were like, "Yo, this show is messed up. Like, whoever came up with this is sick in the head. It's Korean, and both of y'all already know. Like, if it's sick in the head in Korean, I love it. In movie club, Old Boy, my
Yeah.
favorite movie that we watched. And a lot of the foreign films I really enjoy, like The Platform. And the funny thing was,
Have you seen Parasite?
yeah, I also really enjoyed that. But Maul kind of compared. It's not the same movie as Platform, but he was like the symbolism in the movie kind of reminds him of Platform, just about like life and people. And so I'm like, oh, well, I really like Platform, really like Korean, so let me watch this. And then it was like the night I started watching it, the next day everyone started talking about it. So I'm like, yo, I got to finish this before it gets spoiled for me. And I'm not gonna spoil it for y'all, but it is very, very, very good to me. And I know you're
How many episodes?
10. Is there one season?
nine.
Oh,
It's
9.
nine.
How
An
long are episodes?
hour long, but episode 8 is 30 minutes for whatever reason.
Oh, I finished that tomorrow.
Yeah, you will. But you know the gist of what it is.
Nah, I intentionally didn't
Okay.
listen to, like, I'm in several group chats where they're talking about it. I know I saw a recent thing about them saying, oh, this should be a party game, and the shots be like drinks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I know people get offed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Hunger Games kind of vibes a
Yeah,
little bit.
and I said that in our group chat. So it's Hunger Games, Saw, and then I don't know if you ever heard of the game that was popular for a while, Among Us. Like combine all those together, make it Korean, and that's what you have with
Oh,
the
yeah,
show.
that definitely sounds lit.
Yeah, it's fire. Of course, it's gory. It's not as gory as people made it out to seem, but it's still a very good show. And I don't want to spoil it for y'all. I was really hoping y'all watched it, but I will leave it at that. So watch Squid Game if you. I mean, by the time this comes out, the majority of the listeners would have already watched it, and you probably would have finished it by then. But
So you saying Tati's gonna come up with a party version of this?
oh, we'll see.
And
She
we'll play it for Halloween.
She loves party games, but it's all kid games that they play, and I don't want to ruin the games that they play. Which it's not really a spoiler, but I'd rather you see it for yourself when you watch that. Last thing, as far as I'll
Shout
let
out
y'all.
Tati. She puts together a nice party.
Yes, she
That
does.
what you sound library was hilarious.
Yeah, I want Tati to throw another party so I can make cheesecake for everybody but Zach.
Yeah, Gabe is still mad to this day that I said his cheesecake is not as good as Cheesecake Factory. Maybe I need to have a second. When you do a test, you can't only do it once. You got to have multiple tests to see if that's really how it is. All right, so Super Mario, they're coming out with. Is it a live action movie or is it going to be animated? Do y'all know?
I think it's live action.
Okay, so the casting a little bit controversial, but Buddy from Parks and Rec and Guardians of the Galaxy, what's his name?
Pratt?
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
Oh, Chris Pratt. Yeah.
He is the voice of Mario. Some other big names in it. Well, the only person I can think of is I'm blanking, from Pineapple Express. He has the funny
Seth
laugh.
Rogen?
Yeah, Seth Rogen. I think he's Bowser. Keegan Michael Key. He's Toad.
He's Toad.
Yeah. I don't know how, but
He's like tall and skinny.
Yeah. So the girl that's playing Peach, I have no idea who she is. What is
I've
she
seen
from?
her in something else. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Oh, she's in Peaky Blinders and she's in.
That's
Yeah, I
why-
was like,
that's why I
no
don't
wonder
know.
I haven't
What's that
seen her
movie?
before.
The chess game or whatever, or Queen's Gambit.
Okay.
Queen's Gambit, Split,
Oh yeah, I've seen Split, but that's the only thing.
Glass. Both of those.
But Mario is definitely one of my favorite games of all time. So, I mean, I will be watching this. And you know for sure that it's live action, AJ?
I think so. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
why they
that's
were
a
trying to
downfall
get
for
someone
me.
that looked like these people.
Yeah.
That's a downfall for me. I haven't really liked any of the live actions.
Yeah. Jack Black is Bowser. And then
Oh, well, it's going to be good now.
yeah.
Seth Rogen and Jack Black.
Yeah,
it's
Seth
kind of hard for
Rogen
it not to be
is-
good
is
now
Donkey
at this
Kong.
point.
Yeah. So I'll definitely be watching it. Did y'all see Sonic?
I did not.
Okay. I mean, I thought Sonic wasn't good from like the initial reviews, but lately I've been hearing a lot of people say that Sonic wasn't bad, but I haven't seen it, so I need to watch it. And then of course Sonic 2 with Idris is in it.
Millions of people watched Aquaman.
Oh, I guess it's not because everything's saying voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Millions of people watched Aquaman.
Yeah.
No, so Jack Black is playing Bowser.
Yeah. That I just corrected
Oh,
myself.
okay.
Yeah.
My bad.
So Donkey Kong is what's his face?
Seth Rogen.
Which
Seth
means that a bunch of people watching a movie does not make it a good movie.
That is true. That is very true. But what y'all been streaming?
I recently rewatched Sons of Anarchy, which both of you still haven't watched.
I'm watching it right now.
No, I
actually.
told you I started it years ago, but never finished it. Once I finish Dexter again for the billionth time, I will start up Sons of Anarchy. I promise.
So now, so the sitcom I'm watching, for those of you who don't know, I watch a sitcom. Like, I'm always watching a sitcom when I wake up and when I go to sleep at night. The sitcom I'm watching I'm rewatching George Lopez.
I was just watching that the other day. I got my oil changed, and it was on, and I'm like, yo, this was really a great show.
Yeah, it's super funny. So I'm rewatching that, and then as far as different series, I'm getting ready to start Cocaine Cowboys. I waited because everyone was talking about that, so now I can watch it objectively. So yeah, that's me right now. Cocaine Cowboys, George Lopez. I'll probably finish Cocaine Cowboys very quickly.
Yeah, that wasn't a
And
long
then,
watch.
Yeah, and then move on to
Squid Game.
Bro, you need to watch Squid Game this weekend.
no, because too many people are talking about it right now.
Just continue to do what you've been doing. Just stay off, like ignore the group chats, stay off, or like ignore the social media posts, and then just form your own opinion.
I see. It's not that I don't think I can't form my own opinion. Is that people get my expectations up too high.
Yeah.
And then I go into it being like, all right, it's not as good as y'all made it out to be.
Yeah.
And then later on, I'm like, oh, it's better than what I thought it was. Like, the only stuff I can watch when everyone else is watching it is comedies.
Okay.
Because then it doesn't,
Yeah.
it's not going to matter. Like, Tiger King is not, it's not going to matter because it's just pure comedy.
Got you. And something else I've been telling you that you need to watch, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Because I feel, and I was going to say it earlier when we were talking about get it off your chest. You and me, we two peas in a pod, Gabe. Whether you want to admit it, we very similar in more ways than not. You have your ways of being grumpy just like I do. You're opinionated just like I am.
This is facts.
I might be slightly more vocal on the stuff that annoys me, but we're very much similar.
I'm only grumpy when I don't eat.
Bacon?
Okay.
Oh, you don't eat.
Yeah, when I don't eat, I'm grumpy.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
for
I
the most
noticed that
part,
too on the last trip.
Yeah, when
I was
don't
like, oh,
eat,
Gabe's
I'm
hungry.
I'm a terrible person when I don't eat. I know
Yeah.
that for a fact.
It was because that's the first time where we were like struggling to find food sometimes because the places we're going were like few and far between. That was pretty funny. I started noticing. I'm like,
But what I was gonna say is Larry David. You will connect with Larry David.
I don't like the way you phrase that, but
No, Larry David. He's genuinely himself. So you said you like Seinfeld, right?
yeah.
So Larry David and Curb.
that's not what he was like saying a pause moment. He wasn't like disagreeing with what you were saying. He just didn't like you saying he was going to connect with
He
you.
just completely missed that.
Yeah, he started explaining it more.
But you enjoy the show Seinfeld, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Larry David is like Seinfeld, but times 2, and because it is on HBO, it's not as clean. And a lot of because Larry David, he was a writer for Seinfeld, so a lot of the characters that were on Seinfeld are on Curb Your Enthusiasm. So like Jason Alexander, who was the short bald dude. Seinfeld is in it. Dreyfus, her last name, she's in it. All the characters, so you'll like it. But you streaming anything, AJ, outside of Squid Game?
Yeah, I just started Squid Game, but I'm also doing Sons of Anarchy too,
Okay.
and it's good so far. Gabe didn't recommend
Sons of Anarchy is
a
lit.
bed. To me, like so far, I don't know if I like it more than Peaky.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting you to like it more than Peaky because I hear the way you talk about Peaky and I'm like, all right, yeah, nah, I don't think he's gonna like it more than that. But
Yeah,
it's still. I mean, are you still in season 1?
but no, I saw you post. Yeah, I'm in season 1 still.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing. The stuff that I remembered from the first few times that I watched it, I remembered them being a lot sooner
Yeah,
than what they really are.
yeah, it's
And a lot of the
stretch.
stuff like that I remember it for happened later, but then it reminds me of like all the crazy mess that happened because that's a wild show.
Yeah,
And it's crazy that wasn't on like That was on like
It was on
FX.
FX, yeah.
I was gonna ask.
I think it was like late at night on FX though.
Yeah,
It was like
that
the
show
10, their
is
10 p.m. slot.
wild.
And so I just saw you post like you can't compare Sons of Anarchy to like anything else.
Yeah, everything has their own place. I feel like you're gonna have Peaky Blinders is Peaky Blinders, Sons of Anarchy is Sons of Anarchy, Game of Thrones is Game of Thrones, Prison Break is Prison Break. Like you're gonna have stuff that's similar to it, but it's not gonna compare as far as
Yeah.
like things that like Sons of Anarchy has way more going on in the story than Peaky Blinders. But everything else about Peaky Blinders, like the character development, the way people play their characters, the cinematography, all that stuff is, in my opinion, better than Sons of Anarchy. But Sons of Anarchy is just like, it's just a drama, like
Yeah.
from the jump
Yeah.
all the way to the end. It's just craziness. And I told you, I think it's the only show that I think actually has like,
A good ending, you say?
well, I wouldn't necessarily say a good ending, but like the ending is the perfect ending. It makes sense.
Gotcha.
It wouldn't make sense any other way.
Got you.
Yeah. I mean, the difference between them Peaky and Sons of Anarchy is there's so many episodes in Sons of Anarchy. There's
Yeah.
six in a season for Peaky, and then Sons of Anarchy, you get, I don't know how many. How many is it per season? Like 20, 30
Yeah.
probably? Because this was on network television
And
too.
how
So
many-
they,
how many
That's one of
They
the
have
things
them
we
longer.
talked about. We talked about how like networks, television, their shows and series will be way longer
Yeah.
or whatever. There is a few spots where it feels like they're dragging it out, but for the most part, I feel like they do a good job of like, as far as the villains, the villains like it doesn't stay the same the whole time.
Yeah.
It keeps twisting turns, it keeps switching. Unlike like Prison Break. Prison Break is like you're on season 4 and it's like, yo, at this point, just stay in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all still trying to break out of prison. Like at this point, y'all would have been out on parole.
That's true.
How many seasons of Sons of Anarchy are there?
7?
Okay. Yeah. And it's like 45 minutes because it was on TV? Okay.
Yeah, it's like that to an hour. And in the my biggest criticism of network shows is usually that it seems like they're trying to play for commercial break
Yeah.
or like hold you during commercial breaks, but I haven't noticed it in this one. It's just super fluid and it all
Gotcha.
makes sense. It's not like, oh, now random cliffhanger for no reason.
Yeah.
And then they like, oh my gosh, Empire was the worst at that. Anytime they would have Taraji do a flashback, would they have her do this face and have the camera get real close, and then that cut to commercial,
Yeah.
and then they'll come back and she's like this again, and then they'll flash back to what it was she was actually
Yeah.
looking at. Like, oh my god,
She's been sitting there looking like this for the whole commercial break.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That makes me think of Scandal, which loved that show at first and then
Did
got
not-
annoyed.
did
I
not
think
like
the camera
Scandal.
just ended. You didn't like Scandal? The reason I didn't like Scandal, and I was way early on the wave before everybody else, because now it's a meme at this point, but the face that Kerry Washington makes.
The crying face. You
Yes,
said you
the fake crying face
you
that she would,
can't do
that shit used to always drive me nuts, and I was like, I can't take this anymore. So I stopped. But then How to Get Away with Murder, obviously they're two completely different shows, but still by the same writer or whatever, director. And so like you can see the similarities, but How to Get Away with Murder, loved. And obviously, what's her name? She's a way better actress.
Viola
than,
Davis.
Yeah, Viola Davis is a way better actress than Kerry Washington, in my opinion at least.
Yeah, I think How to Get Away with Murder did the best job in a series of inserting maybe Orange is the New Black, but it's complete different shows. Best job of inserting character and storyline of a person who was gay, but without it feeling like they were doing it for views or they
Gotcha.
were doing it for like shock value.
Yeah.
I know I had a conversation with somebody about that. It was like, oh, like what do some people mean when they say they're forcing it, like they're forcing these roles?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, some people who say that are just homophobic.
Yeah.
But then like, I'll give you an example. Empire realized like they were attracting that audience.
Yeah.
They came back to a season where Jamal, the guy who was gay in the show, is now running the company. And the first day he's running the company, he walked into the main office and is someone dressed in drag wearing a rainbow wig in heels laying on the desk, and they start singing like I'm Every Woman when he walks in.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you couldn't get more extreme.
Yeah.
And then you never see this character again.
Yeah.
Like, it was just there for
Yeah.
that one scene, that one moment. They didn't like write out a storyline. It was nothing.
Yeah.
It was just, I was like, that's what I think people mean.
Yeah.
On How to Get Away with Murder is sometimes you even forget, like, it's a gay couple. You just see it as like a regular couple intertwined in all the drama.
Yeah. All right, cool. Y'all got anything else for streaming? All right, so music. I definitely owe everyone an apology or saying I was wrong. Zach versus the people. I was speaking for the people, and the people proved me wrong. So
I disagree.
Oh, what?
I think the phrasing of the questions were not accurate.
Okay, so how should we have phrased them?
So what you said, what the question that was asked on the pod, I feel like you were correct, but the way people interpret it on the pod and the way they phrased the question on your post is different.
Yeah.
They asked who's a bigger artist right now between Drake and Beyonce, not the Michael Jackson part. You bugged out on that one.
Yeah,
But
and
who's a bigger
later in the podcast, I kind of stated, I mean, I didn't have a strong stance, but I was like, I might be wrong with the dying stuff, but I still felt people would react in a similar way. Like, it would be neck and neck. I still don't think people would be to the level of Michael Jackson or definitely above, but I think Drake would be right there because he's mid-career. But sorry, continue.
So you guys asked who's a bigger artist right now?
Did we?
No, he says you said you feel like if Drake died tomorrow, and you asked who is a bigger artist, who would people say? Yeah. So that's like in this moment, who's a bigger artist? I think when you're saying who's a bigger artist, it becomes more of a statistical analysis. And Drake at that time had 9 of the top 10 spots. If you ask who, which is what they kept piggybacking off of after the original question was who had more impact, which is a completely different
But we were
question.
saying who's the bigger icon.
Who's the bigger icon or who's had more impact. So the original question is, if Drake died, you were saying social media would say he's a bigger artist than Beyonce. He's a bigger artist than Kanye. And then after you said that, it was like, no, what? You think Drake has had more impact than Kanye? You think Drake has had more impact than Beyonce? And I'm like, those are two different questions. Because on any of these platforms, when artists go on, they're like, oh, this person is the biggest rap artist right now. Like at one point they were saying Lil Baby was the biggest rap artist right now. They were saying it based off of numbers. Yeah. But then, if Drake put out an album and his numbers did better than Lil Baby, they'll say, oh, Drake's the biggest artist. Yeah. So like Drake just won Artist of the Decade because he sold the most records. Yeah. So I feel like saying who's the bigger artist, it'll be kind of difficult to deny him that when the numbers support him being the bigger artist. But if you're going to say who's a bigger icon and who's had more of an impact and those types of things, then he wouldn't be any of the people y'all mentioned.
Right. But I mean, that's what I was thinking when we were talking about when we said icon in general. I even saw it, like, we have to define what we're saying as icon. Yeah, you did say if it's just music, then that's one thing. But as an icon with music, people you've impacted, whether it's like other artists in the industry or just in general, or amount of people you touched, then that's what I was saying. I think
I was definitely surprised by the Kanye votes. I mean, though, I think on Twitter and Instagram, the Kanye versus Drake icon debate were the closest, which I'm happy I was wrong about because obviously Kanye is my favorite.
I think that also is just the current climate right now. Yeah. So anyone who's a Kanye fan is going to vote Kanye. Anyone who's a Drake fan. Like if it was back before they had beef, which obviously Drake wasn't as big back then. Yeah. But if there was no beef,
but still, I think the numbers would be a little different. Even still going off what you're saying, that just shows you that, I mean, at least based off our followers or people that voted, that there were more Kanye fans than Drake, which I did not think was the case at all.
Yeah, and it is all about like regions, like who's your followers. Because I'll give you an example. I have this conversation. I have a few friends who are from New York, and even like the podcast we listen to of artists who are from New York, most of them revere Jay-Z as like the greatest rapper. Yeah. And I'm like, and it's they's like, oh, it's been that way. Like people have known this. I'm like, growing up down here, I never heard anyone say Jay-Z was the best rapper. The name we always heard was Lil Wayne. Like over and over and over again, you might hear Tupac, you might hear, but regionally, people are it's gonna affect people's opinion on who they like. But I'm like, obviously more people stream Drake's album than Kanye's album. Yeah. So you're gonna go, who's the bigger artist right now? It's kind of like, well, they put out an album around the same time. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. But I will die on the hill that Drake is bigger than Beyonce. I don't care what anybody says. I'll be wrong about it, but I think that Drake is a bigger icon than Beyonce. And when I had this conversation with Justin shortly after, because he's a Drake stan, and he was like, bro, how many white males are running to listen to Beyonce? Like, Drake covers all the categories.
No. That's back. That's you. If you do that, I think that's where you're gonna get a losing battle, because the Karens of the world love Beyonce.
There are Karens that love Beyonce, but there's also Karens, which I mean, I guess there's Karens that love Drake and there's Karens that don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. And you got white men who like Beyonce. It's gonna be super hard for you to as far as the impact or the icon goes. It's gonna be super hard because one, Beyonce has errors. Yeah. And then two, like the market that she touches is the market that spends the most money. Single black women spend the most money in the United States of America. Yeah. So anything that's catered to that audience is almost guaranteed to be like super successful. So it's gonna be super hard for you to like debate him being a bigger icon than Beyonce.
Yeah. I mean, I was already proved wrong, so I'm just saying why like I think this way. And I don't know. I was going to talk international, but I'll be putting my foot.
Because I don't like nor dislike either one of them.
Oh, really? I thought you liked Beyonce.
Me? Yeah. No, I don't.
I thought you were part of the Beehive. No.
No, not at all. I don't dislike.
I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent to both of them too.
Yeah. I mean, musically, I probably like old Kanye. Yeah. Well, I like old Drake better too. I like.
Well, we know.
Still my favorite Drake.
We know we got that. I got that Drake. I mean, the Gabe and Drake side by side.
Gabe was never the same.
The black and white.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But anyways, we can move on. So they announced who is performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Talking about Karens, I can see this being I haven't heard anything negative yet, but come Super Bowl, I definitely think there's gonna be. I'm not watching the Super Bowl because they got who is it? Snoop Dogg,
Mary J.
Kendrick, Mary J, Dr. Dre, Eminem, all performing at the halftime show.
That's cap. They're gonna watch the Super Bowl. They were saying they weren't gonna watch NFL games when people were kneeling or not talking about like not respecting the flag, or whatever. They still watched. They're gonna watch the Super Bowl. I mean, and then it's a halftime show. If you watch the game and you don't want to watch the halftime show, you can easily not watch the halftime show. It's not like it's an integral part of the game.
So I've literally never in my life cared about the halftime show. Like, of course, you always have the girls and some of the guys that don't watch sports that are like, oh my God, that halftime show, can't wait to watch it. Never cared. But this year, I'm definitely sitting my ass down.
You didn't even like J-Lo last year?
No, there's only been one that I cared about. And it's because, obviously, I like more old music. In my entire life, all I've ever heard was the greatest live performer is Prince. Greatest live performance is Prince. Any Prince live performance is going to be the best performance you ever seen in your life. Yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, all right, I got to see what he does for the halftime show. That's the only one I really paid attention to, and he did snap. Yeah. That's the only one I really paid attention to. Other than that, I could care less. And because none of the artists that I like ever gets selected for the halftime show anyway.
Yeah. But I'll definitely be interested to see what songs they perform, how they're able to censor themselves through. I mean, obviously they're going to pick their biggest hits and their cleanest songs. So it'll be interesting to see. But y'all looking forward to it?
Yeah, that'd be cool. See a switch up, see something new.
Yeah. Who was it last year? Was it The Weeknd or was that?
Yeah, it was The Weeknd.
Oh, okay. It was The Weeknd last year?
Yeah, you don't
I thought it
remember
was.
the crazy.
I thought it was J-Lo and Shakira. When was that one?
That was a few years back.
Was it?
Where J-Lo had the nip slip. Oh no, that was Janet who had the nip slip.
Yeah,
J-Lo and
J-Lo
Shakira was 2 years ago. The Weeknd was last year.
Oh, okay.
And then Beyonce was 3 years ago.
Yeah, because I remember them talking about how the Weeknd spent X amount of dollars out of his pocket to create that like futuristic thing. And then I have a fraternity brother, shout out Christian, who was one of the dancers for the Weeknd.
Oh, that's lit.
Oh, that's super lit. Moving on to sports, Josh Gordon, who got to be like the luckiest NFL player in the history of NFL.
Josh Gordon.
He got reinstated and signed with the Kansas City Chiefs. I've never seen somebody get this many chances in my life.
What did he do?
So Josh Gordon, he's a player that has continuously been suspended by the league for marijuana use. I don't know off the top of my. I want to say he's been suspended at least like 4 different times.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And just every year or every couple of years, like just NFL, nope, you're done. Like the bans keep getting longer and longer, but he keeps getting back in. I don't know how. I wish Ricky Williams could have had. I mean, this was years ago, and I think part of it was also Ricky's choice to not come back. But again, this dude is, and not only is he lucky to get back into the league, but he's lucky to be signing with arguably the best team in the NFL, the most stacked team in the NFL. So
I guess on offensive side, but yeah, they're 1-2 right now.
yes,
Who?
the Kansas
The
City
Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Oh.
Yeah, so hopefully he does not mess it up. And the funny thing is, the first time I've ever seen Josh Gordon in person, and this was before he was getting in trouble, walked into
The first time you see the slight flex, AJ. The
Yeah.
first time. That means this has happened more.
no, it's the
Check
only,
the circle. Check the circles that exactly in.
Nah, I'm not dropping names, but I was in Big Pink, a restaurant in Miami on South Beach. He walked
Oh
in.
yeah, I'm not dropping names. I was in this restaurant on South Beach.
I mean, it's not
Throwing money.
It's not a fancy restaurant at all. It's like it's whatever.
It's a diner. Yeah, it's a like, famous diner down here.
But walked
It's a
in,
diner that my boy owns.
and I didn't even at this time I didn't know what Josh Gordon looks like, and my boy was like, "Oh shit, that's Josh Gordon," and all I smelled was straight weed. So once he started getting in trouble, I was like, nah, kind of not surprised. But I mean, every NFL player smokes. Most athletes do smoke, so I'm not holding it against them.
Don't
But
put that out there. They don't. Not all. Not every single
not
player
all,
in the
not all,
NFL
not all.
smokes.
Sorry, let me not generalize. A lot of them do, though. They know when the testing takes place. A lot of them use it for recreational purposes, for health purposes. So, yes, let me not generalize. But Josh Gordon, please don't mess up this time around. Did the NFL say they're not? Or that was just the NBA that said they're not testing for marijuana anymore, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, definitely the
NBA.
NBA.
I don't
The
know if
NBA's
he got
player
suspended
union?
last time. I think he just was a free agent.
Oh, he might have gotten injured. I can't remember. But
Yeah.
all I'm saying is, Josh Gordon, stay healthy and do not get in trouble with drug testing anymore. And
I feel like he just plays when he wants to. He's like,
yeah, that's
they're gonna let
exactly
me play. Like,
that's exactly what he. And I mean, he's definitely a talented player. But what's been most surprising to me, it's like he's not the most talented player at his position. Like if
he was at one point, but yeah, since then,
even like when he was at his prime, like he was a good player, but he wasn't one of the best receivers. Like I'm trying to think who like he might. Okay,
he was also on the Browns.
yeah, there's that. So let's say Jarvis Landry. Like right now on the Dolphins, he was big. That might have been his peak. But Jarvis Landry, like good NFL receiver, but not the top. He's not top tier.
I thought he broke records as a rookie or something.
Maybe, but Josh Gordon was never that dude. As far as like the marketing for him to be getting this many chances, that's all I'm trying to get down to.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely players that, in my opinion, were better. What's his face from the Cowboys? He was just Des Bryant. Like that's someone that should have been good because he was like the top of the top. Josh Gordon wasn't Des Bryant level. But last thing I wanted to say is I'm done with college football. My Canes absolutely suck. It is a terrible feeling. Every year we just get worse and worse. I want to be like you guys where if my team loses, it's just...
No, I'm not like that. But the only team I'm really like super invested into like that is
The Heat. Okay.
Yeah, we don't lose like that.
Yeah. And the NBA, it's different. NBA, it's one loss isn't the end of the world. Whereas
and I'm also a burrowing owl, and we don't lose like that either. So I can't relate.
That is true. I do think they just beat FIU. But nah, when the Canes lose, it ruins my whole week. And right now we are 2-3, and it sucks. I was just at the game on Thursday. We lost on missing a game-winning field goal. It should have been a chip shot, hit off the upright, and it's just a shitty feeling. So I'm NFL, NBA from here on out. You will not see Zach talking about the Canes anymore.
I mean, you could be an FSU fan.
That is true. They haven't won a game yet, and they lost to Jacksonville State, FCS team in Alabama. So that is true. But y'all got anything else sports-wise that wasn't on the list?
I don't think I do have anything.
All right.
That's it.
Cool.
Wait. No, I have a question. Who are y'all picks to win Rookie of the Year in the NBA?
NBA? Shit, I've been lacking.
Before the season even starts.
I can't even remember who the number one pick
pull the
was.
draft. I mean, it was Cade Cunningham.
Oh, yeah, that's
Cade
right.
Cunningham, then Jalen Green.
I really don't know.
Probably one of those two, but I think it'll be Cade. He's just gonna have more. He's just probably gonna fill the stat sheet more.
Oh, because I mean, Detroit still rebuilding.
Yeah, he's a 6-8 point guard or whatever.
Yeah.
He'll get 10, 10, and 5 or something like that, or something similar.
Do you have a?
No, I think I like Jalen's chances.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like his chances, but I'm for some reason I feel like there's gonna be a person who like
No one's thinking about.
Yeah, like as an example, I mean, it's not like he went under the radar, but people weren't predicting LaMelo to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
there were people. Yeah.
Well, in the beginning of the year he wasn't in the top 2 or top 3.
Who was
it?
it? Oh, because Wiseman.
Yeah, he wasn't in the top 2.
The main reason a
three.
lot of people had him was he had the overseas experience. He had been playing against quote unquote grown men, which a lot of the college players or G League players were not doing. So that's why a lot of people had LaMelo potentially winning it prior to the season. But he did start off slow, but then got his groove and
This might be a hot take, but by the end of his NBA career, he might be the best passer.
You think so?
His passing is disgusting.
It is as a rookie.
His passing is ridiculous, and he passes them without like. There's no hesitate. He's making the most difficult passes, but he's not thinking about it. It looks like it's just a day at the playground.
Yeah. Wait, I mean, I was gonna say Chris Paul was like that when he was a rookie, but it's not. It wasn't as flashy.
Yeah.
He's not as flashy at all. Yeah, I think Chris Paul it's gonna go down as best point guard. He's a better floor general, but just pure passing, like the types of passes that LaMelo is pulling off, stupid.
Yeah.
But it's been a pleasure having you on, Gabe. Always love having you on. Definitely enjoy it more when Phil is here, so y'all can butt heads. So we got to make sure that happens again. But it's been fun. Y'all listen to, subscribe. What We Watchin'. Got 2/3 of the pod here, and then of course, if you're not already subscribed or downloading our episodes, you got to do the same for Save It for the Pod. But yeah, it's been another episode of Save It for the Pod. We don't have Phil here to hit the drop, so I guess you got to do it, Gabe.
What does he do again? Glad you did it.
All right, peace.